Every American family in the 1970s had a handful of meals they made when the day had taken everything out of them. No cooking, no recipe, no energy left, just food on the table in 10 minutes flat. These were not in any cookbook. They lived in the muscle memory of tired American mothers who came home from work, looked in the cupboard, and pulled supper together from a can, a sleeve of crackers, and whatever was in the refrigerator door. Some cost a dime, some took 3 minutes. All of them fed a family without anyone ever turning on the oven. If you grew up in an American kitchen in the 1970s, you already know these meals. You ate them on the nights nobody had the energy for anything more. These are 25 forgotten 10-minute recipes 1970s families ate when they were too tired to cook. Subscribe before we begin. The countdown starts now. Tuna salad on crackers. The supper that needed nothing but a can opener, a fork, and a sleeve of saltines. The end-of-the-day meal a tired mother could assemble before she even took off her shoes. A can of tuna cost 29 cents in 1972. Today, around $1.89. Mayonnaise, onion, salt, and saltine crackers. Total then under 50 cents. Today, under $4. Fed 4. You drain the tuna and flake it into a bowl. You mix in mayonnaise, diced onion, salt, and pepper. You spoon it onto saltine crackers. The tuna salad goes creamy and cool. The saltines snap underneath. The onion gives it a sharp bite. Tuna salad on crackers came from American thrift cooking that stretched a single can across a whole family. By 1972, it was a no-cook weeknight supper in working-class homes everywhere. No stove, no oven, 10 minutes from cupboard to table. Cottage cheese on toast. The light supper that spread cottage cheese on warm toast for a quick, protein-rich meal that took no cooking beyond the toaster. A tub of cottage cheese cost 39 cents in 1972. Today, around $2.49. White bread and pepper. Total then under 50 cents. Today, under $4. Fed 2. You toast the bread. You spread cottage cheese over it. You add a crack of black pepper. The toast is warm and crisp. The cottage cheese is cool and creamy. The pepper gives it a bite. Cottage cheese on toast came from American and European light meal traditions. By 1972, it was a fast supper in homes that needed something quick and filling. Toast and a spoon of cottage cheese. A light supper in 3 minutes. Chicken noodle soup with crackers. The supper that came from a can and a sleeve of crackers and warmed up the whole family on a cold night when nobody had the energy to cook anything real. A can of chicken noodle soup cost 12 cents in 1971. Today, around $1.29. A can of water and saltine crackers. Total then under 20 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 2. You empty the soup into a pot with 1 can of water. You heat it until the broth steams and the noodles swell. You crumble saltines into the bowl. The broth goes golden. The noodles float soft. The crackers swell and soften in the liquid. Canned chicken noodle soup became an American staple after Campbell's launched it in 1934. By 1971, it was the universal too-tired-to-cook supper in homes coast to coast. A can and some crackers. The whole family warm in 10 minutes. Beans on toast. The British-American supper that took a can of baked beans and a slice of toast and turned them into a hot, filling meal in under 5 minutes. A can of baked beans cost 15 cents in 1972. Today, around $1.49. White bread and butter. Total then under 30 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 2. You heat the beans in a pot. You toast the bread and butter it. You pour the hot beans over the toast. The beans go thick and saucy. The toast soaks them up from underneath. The butter melts through. Beans on toast came from British working-class cooking and crossed into American homes through the 1900s. By 1972, it was a fast, hot supper for families with no energy to cook. A can and a slice of toast. Hot food in 5 minutes. Bologna and cheese roll-ups. No bread needed, just a slice of bologna, a slice of cheese, and a swipe of mustard rolled up and eaten with your hands. The after-school and too-tired supper of an entire generation. Bologna cost 69 cents a pound in 1973. Today, around $3.49. American cheese and yellow mustard. Total then under 50 cents. Today, under $4. Fed 4. You lay a slice of bologna flat. You spread it with mustard. You lay a slice of cheese on top. You roll it tight and eat it like that. The bologna is soft and salty. The cheese folds inside. The mustard sharpens every bite. Bologna and cheese roll-ups came from American working-class kitchens where lunch meat was always in the refrigerator. By 1973, they were a no-cook supper and snack in homes everywhere. No bread, no plate, no cooking, just rolled up and gone. Cheese Whiz on celery. The cool, crunchy, no-cook supper that filled celery sticks with processed cheese spread. A snack that became dinner on the nights nobody could face the stove. A jar of Cheese Whiz cost 59 cents in 1972. Today, around $4.49. A bunch of celery. Total then under 70 cents. Today, under $6. Fed 4. You wash and trim the celery. You spread Cheese Whiz into the groove of each stalk. You cut them into pieces. The celery stays cool and crunchy. The cheese spread is rich and salty. The two textures play against each other. Cheese Whiz launched in 1952 and quickly became an American convenience staple. By 1972, stuffed celery was a fast, no-cook supper and snack in homes everywhere. No cooking, no heat, crunchy supper in 5 minutes. Sardines on toast. The protein supper that came from a flat little tin and a slice of toast. Cheap, fast, and filling for a working family with no energy left at the end of a long day. A tin of sardines cost 19 cents in 1972. Today, around $2.49. White bread, butter, and lemon or mustard. Total then under 40 cents. Today, under $4. Fed 2. You toast the bread and butter it. You lay the sardines across the toast. You add a squeeze of lemon or a smear of mustard. The sardines are rich and salty. The toast crunches underneath. The lemon cuts through the oil. Sardines on toast came from European and American working-class kitchens, where tinned fish was a cheap protein. By 1972, it was a fast supper in homes that needed food without effort. One tin, one slice of toast. Supper in 5 minutes. Vienna sausages and crackers. The supper straight from the can. Little sausages eaten with crackers and nothing else. The kind of meal a tired family pulled together with zero cooking on the hardest nights. A can of Vienna sausages cost 25 cents in 1973. Today, around $1.49. A sleeve of saltine crackers. Total then under 40 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 2. You open the can and drain the sausages. You eat them straight with saltine crackers and a little mustard. The sausages are soft and salty. The crackers snap. The mustard adds a sharp bite. Vienna sausages became an American pantry staple after Armour popularized the canned version in the early 1900s. By 1973, they were a no-cook supper in working-class homes nationwide. Open the can, grab the crackers. Done. She was not lazy. She was exhausted. And she still made sure there was food on the table, even on the nights she had nothing left to give. SpaghettiOs-style quick pasta. The homemade version of the canned classic. Small pasta in a quick tomato sauce that came together in 10 minutes and made the children cheer. A box of small pasta cost 15 cents in 1973. Today, around $1.49. A can of tomato soup and a little butter. Total then under 40 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 4. You boil the small pasta until tender and drain it. You stir in tomato soup and a spoon of butter. You heat through 2 minutes. The pasta goes soft. The tomato soup coats every piece. The butter makes it rich. SpaghettiOs launched in 1965 and became an instant American children's favorite. By 1973, the homemade version was a fast weeknight supper in homes everywhere. A box of pasta and a can of soup. The children's favorite in 10 minutes. Fried potato sandwich. The supper that turned leftover or quickly fried potatoes into a hot sandwich. Cheap, filling, and made entirely in one skillet in under 10 minutes. Potatoes cost 20 cents for 5 pounds in 1972. Today, around $3. White bread, butter, and onion. Total then under 30 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 2. You slice potatoes thin and fry them in butter with onion until golden. You pile them between 2 slices of buttered bread. The potatoes go crisp and golden. The onion sweetens them. The bread holds the hot filling. The fried potato sandwich came from Depression-era and working-class American kitchens. By 1972, it was a fast, cheap supper in homes that needed to stretch a few potatoes. A few potatoes, 2 slices of bread, a hot sandwich in 10 minutes. Hard-boiled egg and salt plate. The simplest supper on this list. A few hard-boiled eggs, a shake of salt, and a slice of bread. Protein on the table with almost no effort at all. A dozen eggs cost 50 cents in 1972. Today, around $3.49. Salt and white bread. Total then under 60 cents. Today, under $4. Fed 3. You boil the eggs for 10 minutes. You peel them under cold water. You serve them with salt, pepper, and buttered bread. The eggs go firm and rich. The salt brings out the flavor. The bread rounds out the meal. The hard-boiled egg supper came from universal thrift cooking, where eggs were cheap protein. By 1972, it was a fast, no-fuss supper in working-class homes everywhere. Crackers with Braunschweiger. The liver sausage spread on crackers that made a rich, savory supper from a cheap tube of meat and a sleeve of saltines. Braunschweiger cost 49 cents in 1973. Today, around $3.49. Saltine crackers, onion, and mustard. Total then under 60 cents. Today, under $5. Fed 4. You spread the Braunschweiger onto saltine crackers. You top with a thin slice of onion and a dab of mustard. The Braunschweiger is rich and smooth. The crackers snap underneath. The onion and mustard cut through the richness. Braunschweiger came from German immigrant traditions and became an American deli counter staple. By 1973, it was a fast, no-cook supper in working-class homes nationwide. A tube of liver sausage and some crackers. A rich supper in 5 minutes. Buttered noodles with parmesan. The supper that took a box of egg noodles, a pat of butter, and a shake of parmesan and turned them into something that children asked for again and again. A box of egg noodles cost 19 cents in 1973. Today, around $1.49. Butter and grated parmesan. Total then under 40 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 4. You boil the noodles until tender and drain them. You toss them with butter until coated. You shower them with grated parmesan. The noodles go glossy with butter. The parmesan melts and clings. The whole bowl is simple and rich. Buttered noodles came from German and Eastern European immigrant cooking. By 1973, they were a fast, comfort supper in American homes everywhere. A box of noodles and a pat of butter. Comfort in 10 minutes. Quick tomato rice. The supper that turned leftover rice and a can of tomatoes into a hot, filling meal in under 10 minutes with nothing more than a skillet. Leftover rice cost nothing. A can of tomatoes cost 10 cents in 1972. Onion and butter. Total then under 20 cents. Today under $3. Fed 4. You heat leftover rice in a skillet with butter and onion. You stir in canned tomatoes. You cook 5 minutes until everything is hot and combined. The rice absorbs the tomato. The onion adds sweetness. The whole skillet goes red and savory. Tomato rice came from Southern and thrift cooking traditions that never wasted leftover rice. By 1972, it was a fast supper in working-class homes everywhere. Leftover rice and a can of tomatoes. A hot supper in 10 minutes. Toast with tomato and mayo. The summer supper of the South. A thick slice of ripe tomato on toast with a swipe of mayonnaise and a shake of salt. 3 ingredients, no cooking, pure comfort. A garden tomato cost nothing. White bread and mayonnaise. Total then under 20 cents. Today under $3. Fed 2. You toast the bread. You spread it with mayonnaise. You lay thick slices of ripe tomato on top with salt and pepper. The toast crunches. The tomato is cool and juicy. The mayonnaise ties it together. The tomato and mayo toast came from Southern summer cooking, where ripe tomatoes were abundant. By 1972, it was a fast, no-cook supper in homes across the South. Toast, tomato, mayo. Summer supper in 3 minutes. Potted meat sandwich. The sandwich that came from a tiny can of spiced meat spread. Cheap, fast, and filling for a working family on a night with no energy left. A can of potted meat cost 15 cents in 1973. Today, around $1.49. White bread, mustard, and pickle. Total then under 30 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 2. You spread the potted meat onto bread. You add mustard and a slice of pickle. You close the sandwich. The potted meat is soft and salty. The mustard sharpens it. The pickle adds crunch. Potted meat came from American canned meat traditions dating to the early 1900s. By 1973, it was a fast, cheap supper in working-class homes nationwide. A tiny can and 2 slices of bread. Supper in 2 minutes.
Hot milk and bread. The oldest comfort supper there is. Torn bread in a bowl of warm, sweet milk, eaten with a spoon. The meal a tired mother made for tired children on the hardest nights. Stale bread costs nothing. Milk, butter, and sugar. Total then under 10 cents. Today under $2. Fed 3. You warm milk with a little butter and sugar. You tear bread into a bowl. You pour the warm milk over it. The bread soaks up the warm milk and goes soft. The butter melts through. The sugar makes it gentle and sweet. Hot milk and bread came from universal poverty and sick room traditions across cultures. By the 1970s, it was still the too tired to cook supper in the poorest American homes. Warm milk, torn bread, a spoon. The gentlest supper there is. These were not failures of effort. They were proof of it. On the nights she had nothing left, she still found a way to feed you. Cinnamon sugar toast. The supper that felt like a treat. Buttered toast dusted with cinnamon and sugar, run under the broiler until it bubbled. Breakfast for dinner on a tired night. A loaf of bread cost 25 cents in 1973. Today, around $2. Butter, sugar, and cinnamon. Total then under 30 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 4. You butter slices of bread. You sprinkle cinnamon and sugar over them. You run them under the broiler until the sugar bubbles and the edges go golden. The sugar caramelizes. The cinnamon perfumes the kitchen. The toast goes crisp and sweet. Cinnamon toast came from American and English children's comfort traditions. By 1973, it was a fast supper and treat in homes everywhere. Toast, sugar, cinnamon, broiler. A sweet supper in 5 minutes. Banana and mayonnaise sandwich. The Southern Depression-era sandwich that survived into the 1970s. Sliced banana and a swipe of mayonnaise between white bread. Strange to some, beloved by anyone who grew up with it. A banana cost a few cents in 1972. White bread and mayonnaise. Total then under 20 cents. Today, under $2. Fed 2. You slice a banana onto a piece of bread spread with mayonnaise. You close the sandwich. The banana is soft and sweet. The mayonnaise is tangy and rich. The bread holds it together. The banana mayonnaise sandwich came from Southern Depression-era cooking and stayed in working-class homes for decades. By 1972, it was still a fast supper in the South. A banana and some mayo. A sandwich in 2 minutes. Cream cheese and olive sandwich. The sandwich that felt fancy but took 2 minutes. Cream cheese mixed with chopped olives, spread on white bread. A tea room favorite that became a tired night supper. A block of cream cheese cost 35 cents in 1972. Today, around $2.49. A jar of olives and white bread. Total then under 60 cents. Today, under $5. Fed 3. You soften the cream cheese. You mix in chopped green olives. You spread it on white bread. The cream cheese is rich and cool. The olives add a salty bite. The bread is soft around it. The cream cheese and olive sandwich came from American tea room and luncheon traditions. By 1972, it was a fast supper in homes that wanted something easy and a little special. Cream cheese and olives. A fancy-feeling supper in 2 minutes. Quick skillet cabbage. The supper that fried shredded cabbage in butter until it went sweet and tender. 1 pan, 10 minutes, almost no money. A head of cabbage cost 10 cents in 1972. Today, around $2. Butter, onion, salt, and pepper. Total then under 20 cents. Today, under $3. Fed 4. You shred the cabbage. You fry it in butter with onion over high heat for 8 minutes until it wilts and the edges go golden. The cabbage goes sweet and tender. The edges caramelize. The butter enriches everything. Skillet cabbage came from German, Irish, and Southern cooking traditions. By 1972, it was a fast, cheap supper in working-class homes everywhere. A head of cabbage and a pat of butter. A hot supper in 10 minutes. Pimento cheese on white bread. The Southern spread that needed no cooking. Sharp cheese mixed with pimentos and mayonnaise, spread thick on white bread. The caviar of the South on a tired night. Sharp cheddar cost 69 cents a pound in 1972. Today, around $5.49. Pimentos, mayonnaise, and white bread. Total then under $1. Today, under $7. Fed 4. You grate the cheddar. You mix it with chopped pimentos and mayonnaise. You spread it thick on white bread. The spread goes orange and dense. The pimentos add sweetness. The bread is soft around it. Pimento cheese came from American and Southern cooking traditions in the early 1900s. By 1972, it was a fast, no-cook supper in homes across the South. Cheese, pimentos, mayo. A Southern supper in 5 minutes. Sugar sandwich. The plainest supper a tired family ever made. White bread, butter, and a spoon of sugar. A meal of last resort that children somehow remembered fondly for the rest of their lives. A loaf of bread cost 25 cents in 1972. Butter and sugar. Total then under 15 cents. Today under $2. Fed 2. You butter a slice of white bread. You sprinkle sugar over it. You fold it over and eat it. The butter holds the sugar. The sugar crunches slightly. The bread is soft and plain. The sugar sandwich came from Depression-era and working-class poverty cooking. By 1972, it was still a last resort supper in the poorest homes. Bread, butter, sugar. The plainest supper there is, and somehow unforgettable. Apple and peanut butter slices. The no-cook supper that paired crisp apple slices with peanut butter. Sweet, filling, and ready in 2 minutes for a family with no energy to cook. An apple cost a few cents in 1972. A jar of peanut butter. Total then under 20 cents. Today under $2. Fed 2. You core and slice an apple. You spread peanut butter on each slice or use it as a dip. The apple is crisp and tart. The peanut butter is rich and sweet. The two together are satisfying and filling. Apple and peanut butter came from American children's snack traditions that became supper on tired nights. By 1972, it was a fast, no-cook meal in homes everywhere. An apple and a jar of peanut butter. Supper in 2 minutes. In the comments, tell me which one your family made. Was it the tuna on crackers or the cinnamon toast? Tell me the tired night supper you can still taste when you close your eyes. Tell me her name if you want to. I am reading every one.